Gridlock is today's topic of discussion in this episode of Our American Republic. Though many seek responsiveness and action from our federal government, swift measures can prove severely detrimental to our nation. So when the media or the people call for swift actions from the government, first we need to know where responsibility falls in our system. On issues ranging from taxes to the environment, it's up to all three branches of government to work on legislation and policy in accordance with the Constitution, along with consent from the people and the states. Today, it may be unclear what the people and the states expect from the federal government, so let's talk about the results of constitutional checks and balances and why the founders saw them as such a key part of the American federal government. Historically, swift government action is not conducted by republics. Rapid responses to internal or external events are usually observed within the following forms of government: autocracy, oligarchy, and democracy. In these systems of government, there are no checks and balances. Therefore, emotions can take hold of individuals in power and drive forward hurried measures regardless of whether the new policies have been vetted with the people they will affect. Irrational measures, made hastily in response to internal and external threats, have historically resulted in the denial of civil rights, economic collapse, imprisonment of detractors, genocide, war, and sometimes collapse of the government itself. Checks and balances are often mentioned in reference to the three branches of our federal government, but how do they impact you and me? In Federalist number 51, James Madison laid out the case for ensuring that the three branches of the American government each had their own responsibilities and stood in opposition to one another. The branches of our democratic republic not only sit in contention with each other, but also with the state legislatures. These checks and balances create a situation wherein an advocate for new policy or laws must make a rational case to the other parts of government to gain consensus before measures will be passed. This process results in a civil discourse, a time of reasoning, and adherence to the law with new measures that will affect American policy. This thoughtful, patient discourse is also known as gridlock. From a practical sense, we also see gridlock at home when we can't make up our minds on large purchases and personal interactions. Sometimes it makes sense to be thoughtful and patient before we choose our course of action to ensure the best possible outcome. These considerations are important for governments as well. Most importantly, gridlock can keep us from losing our freedom and keep the government out of our individual lives. How can gridlock protect America? How has the two-party system affected gridlock? How can we encourage gridlock in American government? What sort of balance should we seek between government action and gridlock?